we are going to talk about finding the surface area of triangular prisms. We know that triangular prisms have two triangular bases. Opposite of each other, they run parallel and they are identical. Because we have triangular bases, that means that we have three lateral faces that come off each side of our triangular base. When we unfold that into a net, this is what that looks like. We have three lateral faces with potentially different dimensions and two bases that are triangular and match. Those are identical. The lateral faces, on the other hand, may differ. To find the surface area of a triangular prism, you need to find the area of your two bases and add it to the area of three lateral faces. So the key here is that with a triangular prism, you should have 5 areas that you are adding together. Let's give it a try. So down here, we're going to determine the surface area of our triangular prism. Okay, so as we can see, we have our triangular prism and we've opened it up into a net. The way that I like to find this is I like to draw out my figure. So I know that I have two triangular bases. They're going to have the same dimensions, but I'm going to draw out two anyways. I know that I then have this rectangular figure. I have this back one behind that we can't see. We see it laid out here, but we can't see it in our picture. We know it's behind. And then we have a third face, lateral face. In this case, it's blue. Now, these don't always have to be color coordinated, but I would like to see that you do have your 5 faces so you can more easily see where the area that you have all the parts of your area. Okay, so let's take a look at our dimensions. So our dimensions, first thing we want to do is write down what our formula is. So to find the area of a triangle, I'm going to use the formula base times height divided by 2. And I'm going to do that for both of my triangles. Remember, my triangles should have the same dimension. If I do this correctly, these numbers should be the same. Okay, so now I take a look and I see that over here, I know that my base and my height of my triangle have to meet at a right angle. So we're going to say that 3 times 4 divided by 2, and that gets me 6. And then that should be the same thing. It matches down here. 3 times 4 divided by 2, area equals 6. All right, now I move on to my rectangles. I've got 3 rectangles, and I need to look at the dimensions for each one. They are not necessarily going to match and likely will not. Okay, so I do length times width. I look here. My width here is 3, and my length or my height, the height of all my rectangles will actually be the same because it should be the same distance to the base, okay? So this is going to be 6. 6 times 3, which equals 18. All right, then I've got my back side that I can't see. I know, though, that my distance here is 5. And also we're going to multiply that by our 6. That's our height. And then lastly, we've got one more here. We've got 4. And then again, multiplying it by that height, which is 6. All right, so now I've got 5 different areas here. 5 areas, and now I need to add them all up. So I add 6 plus 6 plus 18 plus 30 plus 24 equals my total surface area. When I add those all up, I get a total. I'm going to put it up here because we ran out of room. Adding these all up to get our total surface area, we've got 84 inches squared as our surface area. So once again, I do draw out my different shapes here. So I should have a total of 5. My bases should be the same, whereas my rectangles will differ, but they should all have that same height.